schedule turns into live. You are live.
Oh, I am live. I hope so. I jolly well hope so.
Above ground is a good thing to be, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Another week and I'm still above ground. So it's a lot to be thankful for.
Just in time to file taxes. Yay.
Oh, yippee. Yeah, and pay rent again shortly.
Absolutely.
Oh, lovely.
Well, never mind all that money nonsense.
Yes.
Let's talk about artistry and love and heart and peace and all of those things. We are just beyond thrilled today that our dear friend, the legendary May Pang, has been able to grab time for TeaFlix in her busy schedule. So we've known May a long, long time.
Right? Yeah, May. We go back with May right to the beginning of you know what. I call it the Beatles circus.
It is. It is kind of a magical mystery. What? Anyway, without further ado, live from New York, while we all still have power and it's not snowing there yet and it's not raining too badly here yet, and President Biden hasn't interrupted us with his helicopter
yet. No, he's coming over soon. He's landing.
The crowd goes wild, ladies and gentlemen, presenting the one and only May
Pang. Hello.
Hello. How are you? Guess what? We are snowing. We are snowing. I'm looking out my window. We have flurries. But the thing is, in New York City, it won't stick. And that's fine. I like the snow, but I don't have to have it stick.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
So it's good.
Well, thanks.
It's good to see you.
You too.
Yeah.
And I see we phoned on the color, purple.
Yes.
Of course. It's the color. My hair. The ball that I sit on, So yes.
Your office chair.
Yeah.
We've got folks just joining from all over. So David's on and Martin's upstairs running the board.
Yeah.
And we've got people from all over the world.
And Paul Antonelli, one of Ruth's earlier husbands.
Indeed.
Yes.
Yes. You met him, didn't you?
Met him,
yes, I did.
My practice husband.
Last October. Yes. That was fun. Oh my God. Yeah. So it's good. It's good that we can get a chance to have a little chat with everyone and all your friends that come to your show.
Yeah, one of my best customer tea ladies, Joanne Grubbs, she is in Colorado, I think. She wrote to me yesterday and said, I'm so pleased you're having May on tomorrow because one of my school friends was in the same class at her school. And a bit later, she said, I don't know the lady's name, but I'll send it all to you after we're finished. And she sent me pictures out of the yearbook of you and herself. So I'll send you that. Yeah.
Wow. I loved it. Yes. It's kind of funny. And I see the people that are writing. I want to hello to someone in New Orleans. Hello to someone in, in Israel. I saw that. That's wonderful.
Yes.
I was just going to say that, at school, I was, I was like a little wallflower. I didn't fit in, obviously, because I liked the music and I liked the Beatles and they all thought I was a little nuts. And my other one was the fact I used to love the Young Rascals because that was the homegrown, local band. And so they all thought, okay, you're it, fine. So I really didn't have many friends out there. So it's kind of interesting to be talking out when I remember going to school, nuns, I went to Catholic school and the nun would say, can you speak up? And I'd be going, we can't hear you. And I'd be all flustered. And now look at where I am. I'm actually talking to people
out loud.
Perfectly loud.
Out loud, perfectly loud.
You're not the fool on the hill, though, are you?
Oh, no.
There's no fool.
Oh, that's so funny. Pittsburgh is there.
This lady's name is Norma that went to school with you. So I'll get the details from Joanne Grubbs later. And maybe she'll friend you on Facebook.
Norma.
That's right, yeah.
So for our folks who are paying attention to the scroll across the bottom, one of the main things I want to talk to you about today is how the journey that it took to make this fantastic movie, which we were lucky enough to see last year, The Lost Weekend. It is just truly remarkable. I laughed. I cried buckets. It should be brought to you by Kleenex, by the way.
It's sponsored.
I know.
Yeah.
But how?
I was going to say somebody else said that thing.
How did you get started? I mean, I know you've always been a photographer and an artist and a documentarian, so you had all of these great photographs from Instamatic Karma. But how do you turn that into a movie? What was your vision and how did you get there? How do you get there from here?
Not easy, because my life was scattered. I wasn't planning on making a documentary. I just remember when, John used to say to me, "Oh, wait till you get out there." And I said, "Well, I'm not the one. You're the one, because everybody wants you, not me." And they said, "No, you're going to be in there." And he would say to me, "Wait till the press start making up stories about you." And I would say, "Make up stories?" So naive. Because working with them, I just never even thought about, because I don't see it. I could see about them, but why me? So they kept saying, "You'll see, pick up stories." And
now you
sure
do.
enough, as years have gone by, this movie is a 50-year, in the making, and you see what they've said, what they've taken, even the simplest things, and it's not this. I said it's that a thing called Chinese whispers, where by the time you finish, you say one thing, and at the end, it's not what you've said at the beginning, and that's exactly what happened. So, but it had come from me. It took many years. People kept saying, you should, and I said, I don't think so. But it got to the point where, as some people said, why are you doing it? I just saw one girl kept saying, you're going to be sorry that you're putting it out. You don't need to tell people anything. And I say, how could I let myself not defend myself after a year? It's not like it only happened and it's only a couple of things. We're talking like all these years now, and it's turned into something else. And I thought it was time. So I think waiting 50 years to do all of this is not a bad timing here.
Absolutely.
My grandmother used to say, her mum, Edie, for whom the song Blackbird was dedicated. We still have the cassette tape of the demo. And she used to say, patience is a virtue. Possess it if you can. It is seldom in a woman and never ever in a man.
Oh, that's interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
So you are it must be your Chinese Zen or your whatever that you've had the patience to wait, And speaking of Chinese whispers, there was another show another joke that was a very Liverpool joke that in fact did the rounds in the Beatles world. And it was obviously they were all born during World War II, and in World War I they used to send telegrams from the trenches, like ticker tape stuff. And the oldest Chinese whisper in World War I was from the trenches: "Send reinforcements. We're going to advance." And it came on the other end as,
"Send reinforcements. I'm going to a dance."
Oh my God, that's too funny.
To your point.
And that's exactly it. So it was time for me to do what I had to do. And then, but the producers, who are also the directors, they're three of them, and they're co-producer directors. Eve Branstein, she came, she knew me. She was the first one that, of this group. And she was showing me, and I said, she used to try to want to see if I wanted to do it, and I wasn't ready. And so we remained friends. So after 25 years or so, later on, she happened to be in New York, and she says, I said, "Oh, what's going on with you?" And she said, "Oh, she's telling me," she goes, "Oh, I'm working on documentaries." And I turned to her, I said, "I'm ready." And she looked at me, she goes, "Are you sure?" And I said, "Absolutely."
You impulsive fool you.
Yeah, my impulsive, right? So I said, "Okay, fine." So then she goes, "I know just the person to talk to," and then went to Richard Kaufman, and then thought, well, hold on, there's one other person who had just done a movie, the Beatles, the touring year, who, and that's Stuart Samuels. So, and he had gone to him and said, "Have you ever heard of May Pang?" And he said, "Of course I have." He goes, "Well, all right," because Richard was the one with the least knowledge. And so now he's probably the one with the most knowledge after working on my film. But I told them how I saw my movie, and they had a thought about it, and and all the stuff, and try to shape it and try to keep it very close to my story, as opposed to making some wild thing going out there,
Right. Well,
So-
the press and misquoting. I mean, John was trying to make the point of, isn't it sad that more kids would rather go to a Beatles concert than go to church? And that turned into the whole book burning, record burning nonsense.
Yeah.
I agree on that one. Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
true.
Mary's on. She's saying she saw your film. She saw The Lost Weekend at the Tribeca Film Festival. It's extremely well done and drives home the fact that you, May, were instrumental in getting John and Julian together as well, and having love and kindness in abundance, which served John well. Isn't that nice?
That's good.
Well,
yes.
That's very sweet. Thank you. It's I don't want to give away the ending of the movie.
Of course.
I don't want so I want people to go out and see it so they could see it in full of where I was coming from, where this whole thing where John was going. It was just, people don't understand. It wasn't just just told you got to do something. It wasn't like that.
Right.
It was much more complicated, and that will leave for the
end.
movie.
Yeah. Good.
But in the
also-
meantime,
Some of the folks
Go
are
ahead.
asking, and we were lucky enough to get a ticket to see the film, which, by the way, again, if you're watching The Crawl, is available all over the United States and places in Canada, one night only for the most part, April 13th. It is being screened in theaters. And for that, you can go to thelostweekendtickets.com or go to fandango.com and, register and poke around and put in your zip code. But both of them have a really good search engine. And you can go. I would book now. Honestly, this thing is going to sell out like Tribeca sold out. I think you broke their servers, didn't you?
yeah, I did. It was like first 10 minutes of it turned on so that you could see the movie. They were calling the producers and saying, "Can we expand the bandwidth? We can't handle the amount of people going on." So it was great. It's true. Right now we only have one date, and more people going. There'll be more dates to be added, but right now it's the 3rd. That's a definite. And please, if you go on those sites and you check and you don't see one that's close to you, be patient, because the theaters happen to not put these things up until maybe 2 weeks before the event. So it could be a time. So you'll see more, but I suggest every couple of days.
Yes.
And Fandango was to put your notice in, so you get notice, or you just check back every few days and see where it is.
And also you follow May on Facebook, because your team posts regularly, don't they, when there's an addition to a new theater and stuff?
Yes. And
So
they're putting, it's nice to know that I don't have to do it. They'll do that right now for me. And it's great. Wait a minute. Is
our friend Mark in Houston, Texas, owns a retail glazery ceramics store. He's wondering, are there any promotional posters that the people the producers are giving out yet? Because to put up to promote the movie.
Yeah, the only posters I know that have gone right now to the theaters.
Okay, well, we'll try it. It's a good idea, though. If you, because you have an army of Beatle fans all over the world, I'm sure that they would love.
Should contact Iconic. Yeah.
But they would love a poster, but B, promotion is promotion, and if you're where you're heading towards a blockbuster, every little helps, right?
Every bit, absolutely.
As the monkey said when he pee-peed in the Mersey.
Oh, there she goes again.
There I go again.
God.
Yeah, you're right. There she goes again.
Yeah, you can take the girl out of Liverpool, but you can't take Liverpool out of the girl.
And it begins with liver. So
Yeah.
cheers.
Oh, there you go. It's funny. I mean, it's fun. And then of course these next couple of weeks, I'm going to be starting this Saturday. This Saturday and Sunday, I will be in Boston to do as we call it, the Lost Weekend photo exhibition tour. Mm-hmm. And anybody who's in Boston, come on out. That's where you can take
winery, right? You actually, your Wi-Fi cut a little bit there. So it's Boston with a B, not Austin, Texas. It's Boston with a B, and it's going to be at the City Winery. And you've also, that's this coming weekend, but you've also got some dates that they can just go to the City Winery websites or Facebook pages in New York and Philly too, right?
Yes. It will be April 8th and 9th for New York, and it will be the 15th and 16th in Philly. So all of them at the City Winery. Come on out.
Yeah, absolutely. Mark is asking, I knew he was going to ask this, have you talked about the UFO sighting? Well, we're not going to talk about it in detail today because guess where you can learn more about it?
Yes, go to the film. You got to see the film. There's a lot of things I answer. And then it's after the film, then we can talk about it more. But, it'll talk about it there.
Yeah.
I know that people couldn't believe the guy. I'm the one that, John had to, let's put it this way. John had to convince me to come out to see what he was seeing. And he knew that I was his witness. And I was like jumping up and down like a monkey as well on the that I was seeing. I was, oh no, I can't believe what I'm seeing.
Yeah, that's funny. Cindy's asking, what Hollywood clubs did you and John used to go to? Well, you, me, and Martin recently had, it's not a club, but we recently had lunch at one of his old favorite haunts, Barney's Beanery, right?
Right. We got Barney's Beanery, which we love to go have a little, snack. Yes. The other one is the IHOP, which he loved the blueberry pancakes.
Yes.
And let's see. And to go to the club, and there was one other restaurant that we used to go to quite often, and that was Lost on Larrabee. That was the other one. And then after that, let's see, the clubs, of course, everybody knows it's the Troubadour, the Whiskey, and on the Rocks, the Roxy, so those are because that's what was the place. And then we would go to also Carlos and Charlie's up because we lived near there. So yeah.
And then when
we stayed in that
when you were in Santa Monica, you used to head down the coast. We were talking about, because you have to come through Playa del Rey to make our little town, to make that left to go down to Manhattan Beach and Hermosa and Redondo. And when you come out next time, we want to take you to lunch to, it's a place, I know you know it, I know you remember, it's called Cantillini's now, but it was that favorite Italian place that used to have all of the Christmas decorations year round and all the bottles hanging and Christmas lights and all of that nonsense. Yep. So
Salerno,
it was called Salerno Beach in those days. And so,
all these name changes. I see there's one restaurant that has a picture of the group that used to stay, obviously. I can imagine going to a nap. You'd be surprised. John loved and blueberry pancakes. So we used to go to the IHOP a lot near, where is it? Across the street from the school? Is it not? What is it called? That's
West Hollywood. West Hollywood's changed so much nowadays.
No, it's it was near Highland. What is that? There's a high school right near there. It's right on
Hollywood and Highland.
Right on the Sunset. Yeah, that's the one.
Hollywood High, yeah.
So we used to go to that one quite often because the office right across the street was where United Artists was, the records and the publishing. And John's lawyer worked there. And we were, every time he said, well, I'm not ready for you, John. So John goes, great, time to go to the IHOP. And we go in and sneak fast food.
Oh boy, when somebody from IHOP sees this, they're gonna backflip their pancakes, aren't they?
Listen, I'm ready. They should have me be talking about IHOP all the time because I love it. I really do. I have a great time.
We have somebody else, Elizabeth, asking, "Are you still doing jewelry, May?"
Yes, I am. Believe it or not, I know it hasn't been posted, and I know that. Ruth, you've been helping me. I haven't had the time. Yes, I am still doing the jewelry. It's still there. But if there's anything you need to ask me, anything specific, just write to me and I'll talk to you about it. maypenjewelry@aol.com. That's it.
There we go. And now we have, the website back end will be working soon. We're fiddling with shopping carts.
Norma Sasso. Oh my God. Good gracious.
That's wild, isn't it?
Norma Sasso. Oh, Norma, it's been a while. You remember what it was like then? And those nuns and those habits, the Presentation Sisters. Yes. So yeah, oh God, St. Michael's Academy, don't we know it? The best part was like I think it was junior year. So to get to school was really tough, So
Yes.
we did it. First off, you walk a couple of blocks, take the bus across town through Central Park to the other side, then catch the train, and then we had to walk another, maybe an equivalent to like 4 long blocks from the train. On a snowy day, it was tough. So you get in, but in junior high, it was the 6th floor, the 6th floor homeroom. So you come in, you prepare yourself to walk those stairs to the 6th floor. Yeah.
Sarah,
Yes.
It's great.
Sarah.
No, my book is not being printed. No, okay. I took them out. They were on. There are some that could, that either I sell or there's somebody else that I still have a couple copies that I still have that can be bought. But on the whole, I'm not reprinting those.
Well, maybe we should talk about that in digital AI world. We'll have a girl's brainstorm on that.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
Absolutely. So Angela's asking, what were some of John's favorite foods? I know you had a soup recipe that he loved, right?
Well, he loved it, at home when I didn't get a chance to cook, and I do, but when I didn't have a chance to cook, I'd be calling my favorite Chinese takeaway, which he loved the beef curry. So every time, it was one of the last times I remember, I was about to order food in the bill, and at our place we just have people just come in and all that stuff, and they would come unannounced. So all of a sudden the doorbell rings and I go, "Oh, who is it now?" And John said, "Oh, it's Mick." So I said, "Okay."
Oh, not so that Mick.
Wow.
And so he came in and I said, so John said, "I'm about to order food. Do you want anything?" So there I said, "What are you having?" He says, "A beef curry." So there I am ordering from Chinese from my local, going, "Beef curry, please." And then his favorite is hot and sour.
Hot and sour soup. That's Martin's favorite soup. He loves that too.
Yeah.
So, wow.
So it's good.
Mark, speaking of John in New York, Mark recently visited Strawberry Fields in Central Park, and he's saying he was surprised at how emotional that space is. But when you think about all of the people who've been there with love and peace in their hearts, and laid flowers and said prayers and sung songs, it's really an amazing place if you've never been, right?
Yeah.
It's true. Although for me, it's not as emotional, but I understand it because that was closer to Dakota.
Right.
For me, it was John and I, when we were living at our flat, he would just go out and sit on the balcony, and we had the river right next to us. So he would have his little director's chair and he'd sit out there and he'd just be smoking his ciggy. I hated those cigarettes. He had those French cigarettes, the Gauloise.
Gauloise,
yes.
No, yeah. I know exactly. They're horrible. And then since I didn't smoke and, but he recognized that it's a horrible smell. So he'd sit out on the balcony and especially on a good day, and he'd just watch the boats go by and everything else. So it was peaceful for him, and he loved, and of course the building next, go ahead.
It probably reminded him of the Mersey somewhat.
Maybe.
Exactly. Yeah, it did. And of course the building next to us, Greta Garbo used to live in that building. We were hoping to see her, but we never did.
Oh my gosh, that would have been a photo.
But then she wanted to be alone.
I know.
I want to be alone was her famous line.
That's funny.
Well, who lived across the street from us, which is kind of weird too, was Henry Kissinger.
Oh,
yeah. And that block was the block is really filled with a lot of well-known people. That's when I found out. It was like, oh, that person lived there too. Shirley MacLaine used to live up the block too.
I'm not a great address historian, although Madam would know. She's got a book out called Ticket to Ride, and your old apartment's probably in it. It's a tour guide for Beatles on foot in Liverpool, London, Hamburg, New York, and LA. And was that on 34th Street, or where was that? When you talk about the roof and the river, what part of town was that?
The roof and the river. Oh, it's on the east side. So it was completely the opposite of where the Dakota is. The Dakota's on the west side of
Right.
the park. And
Right.
I'm on the east side by the river. So I'm
I
closer
see.
to this river. So when they do, majority of the time when they do the 34th Street, when they do the fireworks and everything on the East River, that I would have had a great view, guys. I was
Yeah.
sitting there watching this thing go boom, you know. It was great.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
in the 50s.
David is just saying he used to see John walking in the city sometimes, and he'd be quite friendly. He'd be just John. I mean,
Yeah.
I suppose.
Don't ask him. Yeah, just don't ask him for anything while he's eating. He used to get annoyed with that one.
Of course,
like any man.
Yeah.
So what sort of music were you guys listening to when you were at home? Obviously, anything but the Beatles, I would suspect.
Yeah, we weren't listening to the Beatles. Yeah, unless they had just come out with something. You know, whether it been Paul or George, even Ringo. He'd just have a listen. He was interested in a lot of different music. He even enjoyed. Get a load of this. He even enjoyed disco.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Little devil.
Yes. He just liked listening to all sorts of music. But one of the things that he loved about voices, he loved to hear voices. You know, so that was a big thing for him.
Well, you know, when they were playing the cabin in the early days, and Bob Willow was the DJ, he used to go down to the docks and get records off the ships from the Americans.
Right. Yes, the sailors were coming in, and they got records in America, and he would, buy them a pint of beer and beg them for a copy of the record, and that's how the boys to know about, what was going on with the blues and the early days of rock and roll and so on.
Yeah, Bob Willow,
that's why. Bob Willow, but well, the whole idea was that John and I. He couldn't understand how I knew about all the songs and the singers and the writers and whatever else, because I was younger than him. And I look at him and I go, I got this music firsthand. You're getting it second. You have to wait. I already had this here, Because he couldn't understand how so it's like, I said, you had to wait. I didn't have to.
Right. So, hey, Todd in Detroit, go to thelostweekendtickets.com and type in your zip code in Detroit, and you should be able to see the film April 13th. But if not, it will be coming to Detroit sometime shortly after that. But if you look across the crawl at the bottom, Todd, you'll see the websites you can go to, which are thelostweekendtickets.com or register at Fandango. And we'd love you to go see it and take 10 friends.
Exactly.
Or a dozen.
Just go. Yeah. It'd be great, because don't despair if you look up and you go, I don't see Detroit listed. It's coming. I'm just going to tell you, it's coming. It's just that for some reason, I've been told that it just like posting, the theaters don't post. So to them, it's very early.
Right.
It's a month out. But to them, it's too early. They like to do it somewhere between 1 to 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, people have such a short attention span these days, don't they?
Right.
If you tell them
so they're waiting.
They'll have forgotten. Yeah.
Hello from Ireland, from Brendan. We'll be celebrating St. Patty's this Friday.
Oh yes,
Brendan, I'll show you some of our crazy photo props. We're getting ready to do, because Liverpool is
the capital of Ireland.
It's the capital of Ireland, basically.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we'll be being very silly people, and of course I'll be smoking my pipe and having my cigar on St. Patty's Day. So, welcome, Ireland.
Cabbage,
Boy, from Ireland to Israel, you've drawn quite a crowd here today, Missy.
Oh, I mean, seriously. I mean, the thing with the celebration on St. Patty's, I'll be in a car driving up to Boston, so I'm going in that direction. So it'll be.
You'll get there for the hangover part.
Yes, I'll be looking for the corned beef and cabbage. I want you to know that's what
we're making. That's what I'm cooking on Friday night. I'm making. I've got 8 people coming, and 3 of them are Irish, so I better get it right. And we're having a vegetarian shepherd's pie for the veggie people, and corned beef and cabbage and carrots and tatties, as they call them. And I might do some Colcannon as well, or boxty. Maybe I'll make little boxty pancakes. Who knows? I'll save some in the freezer for you when you land it. They're sort of mashed potato and onion and cheddar pancakes. They're almost like they're a cross between sort of a hash brown, a crab cake without the crab in it. It's like a vegetarian crab cake. They're really good. I'll make a batch and freeze some for you, so when you come to LA, you can have a munch in the hotel.
Oh, I love that. Ooh, that sounds great.
All this making me hungry.
Absolutely.
I know. Well, you know what it is when I make food and I post them out at night. I can't tell you how many people going, now you're making me hungry, and now where do I go to get the food?
I know. And Cynthia Lennon used to love it when you used to go and visit her and have a. She used to say we had a wild time in the kitchen.
Yes.
With a couple of glasses of wine and May at the stove cooking.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
I had made a mock Tibetan stew, and it's basically was minced meat with some cabbage and some whatever else, and ramen noodles. And I make this big pot, and it was in the kitchen. And so I came out early one morning, and Cynthia's like in there with the spoon already. And I have a photo of her somewhere, and she's still in her 90, and she's in there like tasting everything. It was very funny.
That's well, in fact, if you guys want to support the wonderful World Central Kitchen, Jose Andres, May has been kind enough to donate a couple of her recipes that you can download as an NFT collectible and store them in your wax wallet in your phone. If you go to gourmetnft.io on our celebrities page, you will find recipes from both May and Cynthia. Cynthia sent us a recipe. We were compiling a cookbook back in 1994, and it was to benefit a local charity here, and they have since moved on and merged with one of those big, huge corporate charities, and we just couldn't do a deal. And so at gourmetnft.io, there are collectible celebrity recipes from none other than Miss Pang here. And in fact, the original recipe download is a fax that you sent me from Visconti Productions. It's that old. And so
it is old. That is old.
It's very old. And Cynthia's is handwritten, and it was faxed when she was living in, was it the Isle of Man she lived in for a while?
Oh my God, that is old too. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. And so since those fax numbers are no more, I didn't cut them off or Photoshop them out, but they're real historical documents. They're great recipes.
I remember one from Dudley Moore too.
Yeah, we've got, oh my gosh, Dudley Moore, Travis Tritt, whole bunch, because we were living in Nashville. Yes, and every emerging country star at the time donated a recipe. So if you want to help Jose Andres and World Central Kitchen, head over to gourmetnft.io. You see, while May's working on her cookbook, which I'm going to talk. Right.
Yeah, right.
I'll
get right
all that.
Seriously, I'll find a publisher for you. No worries. That would be fun.
It would be fun. Just thinking of all the different foods and late at night. That I start getting. Well, I made yesterday. One of the biggest things of late would tell people about. Oh, what was it? I asked you how you cooked it, and you gave me some good tips. One of the things that I use a lot of is my pressure cooker.
Yes.
And Instant Pot has a small one, a big, because I always used my original was about 7 or 8 quarts, and I would be eating, and halfway through I'm going, I'm tired of this food already. So Instant Pot made a 3-quart, which is just good for 1 or 2 people.
Whole family.
And it was just fabulous. And I make soup in it all the time. Now, people have been asking me about that because they're afraid to use it. Some of them have it. They're just sitting in the closet and not using it. If it's a fairly new, cook, whatever brand it is, they have a safety feature now that you cannot open it unless the pressure's out. Unlike the early days when it just pop your eye.
And oh boy, the ceiling.
I had my Auntie Jones pressure cooker with the weights on top, and if the weights would jiggle or you try to move it and the weights fall off, and terrified me. I have a Ninja Instant Pot now, and my other thing I love is my air fryer. Oh my goodness, buffalo cauliflower. shrimp,
Yeah.
and love all of that. It's wonderful.
I was going to say the Ninja. I didn't realize how is the Ninja Instant Pot?
I love my Ninja air fryer. It does absolutely everything. Hard-boiled eggs, 250 degrees, 12 minutes. Hard-boiled eggs, they slide right out the shell. It's amazing. It's just amazing.
You know, it's just it's so much easier to cook. I like using it just because it's not so much time consuming of doing this. It's a complicated thing.
Right, and you don't get all the oil and what have you. There's another fan comment here from our friend Mark in Houston. He said he so appreciated the time you took to call and say hello when you were with Wendy. So that's another like a nice little yeah. And he bought one of your original NFTs, which are now collector's items as well. So he's planning to purchase a print of that. So this is great. I mean, we've got people all over the world. I mean, we've run the gamut from cooking to peace and love and your movie and your photographic exhibition,
jewelry.
You and I, maybe this weekend. I think it's going to rain again. Oh no, you're off to Boston. Duh.
I'm off to Boston, so we'll have to catch ourselves in
let me know
the weekend. Right. But I hope when everybody go out to see the movie when it comes in. And I love to hear your comments, you know, and I know people say you shouldn't read those comments, but you know what? I just love to hear it. And it would.
And there are a lot more comments. We just don't have the time to, put everybody up there streaming in here.
No, and I'm talking about regards. Oh, yeah, Leah. She's one of my neighbors from Rockland, where I used to live. No, I'm talking about after they see the movie. We'll see what happens. You know,
yes, absolutely. So
yes, I am selling hot sauce, just so you know.
And that will be going on the website soon when you and I get our sleeves rolled up, right?
Yes, definitely. So
absolutely.
It's good.
Well, you are very welcome, Maria Lynn. She's saying thanks for a great show. This has been a wonderful catch up and a chit chat, and we love you so. And I'm just so sorry we live so far apart.
I know. Yeah.
Imagine the trouble we'd get into if we were neighbors. Holy crap!
Oh my God! Don't get me there. Oh Jesus, we'd be out all the time.
Yeah,
because people think I go out all the time.
Well, never mind. Maybe soon.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much, folks. So don't forget to check out thelastweekendtickets.com. If that gives you trouble with your zip code, go and register at fandango.com. And we'll be updating, somebody will be updating, maypang.com shortly with all kinds of e-commerce and hot sauce and jewelry and dates and events and tickets. So get maypang.com bookmarked and keep an eye on that over the next week or so. And for all of our wonderful celebrity guests, we have always the tradition of we finish with a limerick. So if you will indulge us, Ms. Pang, we want to just
pay attention.
Just pay attention now.
Okay. I'm going to pay
1,
attention.
2, 3.
May Pang was our guest for today. Re her movie that is on the way. We'll watch it for sure, maybe come back for more, and love all that she had to say.
Ta-da! Bye-bye, darling. Love you.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. It's lovely seeing everyone.
Bye-bye.
As they say, see you all of a sudden.